Before I begin uploading future talks, I want to lay down a bit of a conceptual framework so that people have something to work with in the beginning as they don't know what the subjects of future talks will be, who I am, what I'll be talking about, etc. So the first thing is obviously with any talking about deeper spiritual matters, using words is very inexact. And you'll see and hear paradoxes, things will feel inconsistent. And I just encourage you to understand that the words are not to be taken at face value, but that you need to go to the place where the words originate from is the most direct way I can say it. Hopefully that becomes a little bit more clear as the talks go on. The second thing I'd like to say is from a worldly perspective and an individual perspective, this is not something that I'm choosing to do. In fact, I spent a good amount of time just kind of staring at the microphone, not wanting to make the video. And so, again, from an individual conceptual perspective, this is something that I feel I'm being willed to do, kind of taken from my individual self and just being pushed into doing this in a good way, not in a bad way. But I just wanted to mention that in terms of where this is coming from, how it's starting. It's not something I'm starting with a purpose in my mind. If I had what I perceive as a choice of whether to do it or not to do it, I would choose not to do it. But this is larger than just my individual self, and so I'm doing it in almost a very devotional way to honor that which is calling me to do that. From an ultimate perspective, there really is no goal. There's no purpose. There is no conceptual framework. This is literally just happening. And in future videos, some might be edited for the convenience of the viewer. Some might have the silence in between the words because these talks will be not coming from an individual, but from, I will just call it somewhere else, something else. Some may call the self, some may call it truth, whatever you want to call it. This current video that I'm doing now, this current recording, will be the most based in my individual identity, simply because I'm creating a beginning framework for people to work from. And that will decrease as time goes on. And if you need something to kind of grasp onto, I think the reason, if you need a reason, a concept that this is all happening is because the individual I is in the process of receding into that which is the only true reality. And rather than have someone who is quote unquote awakened, quote unquote enlightened, my understanding from an individual perspective is that I'm to do this while in that process, and that process being talked about and shown while it's occurring is necessary for, I guess you could say, the world, for everyone in this current condition that we're in. And so I want to be brief. I want to leave it right there and just remember that words are naturally going to create paradox. They won't be totally accurate, but you have to go somewhere else beyond just the face value of the words. That from an individual perspective, I am not doing any of this. This is something beyond my individual identity and not something that I would choose to do if it were up to me as a person. That from an ultimate perspective, there won't be anything for you to grasp onto. There will not be a purpose. I won't be giving you anything. I won't be asking for anything. My personal history, my personal name, while none of that needs to be a secret, is irrelevant in terms of what is going on here. For future talks, they will kind of go where they need to go without me. I won't be guiding them. I won't be trying to lead them to a certain place. It will just happen the way it happens. And sometimes I'll answer questions. Sometimes I'll just talk. Sometimes there might be just silence. So I have no roadmap for how things will go. So this is the first upload. And from here on out, like I said, it'll be something that we experience together, actually, because I don't know where it's going to lead. And as my smaller I further recedes and in a way disappears, how that expresses itself is totally new, totally unpredictable, and out of my control as a person. So if you're interested, please stay. If you're not, that's okay too. And if you have comments or questions or anything else, honesty is respect. So you can ask whatever you'd like to ask. I can't guarantee that I will always answer everything or even in a way that you would like. So thanks for listening.